Right then, United are back in action after a quick little turnaround this week, and we have got Wolves New Year's Eve in the morning, the early kickoff. I don't like the early kickoff. And we have just lost the once in our last 14 games. Wolves sit 18th place in the Premier League. New manager, and we'll talk about him in just a second. They have won their opening 2 games under him. 2-0 win over Gillingham, 2-1 win over Everton. Neither mega impressive, but they are the only team in the Premier League yet to score from a set piece. I feel like that could be in jeopardy this weekend, the way United are playing. Right then, so Lopetegui's come in. As I said, he's got 2 games under his belt, and it's an interesting appointment, I think, for Wolves. Let's have a look how he likes to line them up then. So he likes to usually control matches through quality possession, and they are generally noted for being quite solid off the ball and quite rigid in their structure as well. He likes the 4-3-3, 4-1-4-1, 4-2-3-1, but he's gone with a 4-3-3 in the opening 2 games as a Wolves manager. And from a shape that's almost always 4-3-3 or similar, Lopetegui's teams are energetic, well-drilled, and they are built to counter-press. They don't tend to set up in a low block. His teams are generally proactive when it comes to pressing, and that leads to them pressing very high up the pitch or setting up compactly in the middle to try and block passing lanes through. So a little bit of that with Forest. They didn't really press the centre-halves very much, but they sat off, pressed the full-backs, and then also tried to block the lanes off in the centre. Lopetegui likes to operate with one deep-lying central midfielder in the 4-3-3, which enables the full-backs then to bomb forward on the attack. The number 6, the furthest back, often drops in to create a 3-man defence once the full-backs have progressed up the field, a role that Ruben Neves has adopted for him in those first couple of games. And we've mentioned the fullbacks. They are tasked with providing the bulk of the width in the team. He likes to keep a solid central three in the midfield and use the inverted wide forwards ahead of them, supporting a striker, trying to get a little bit closer to him when they need to be able to attack. Semedo, Johnny, Ainouri, they're able to deliver crosses and can also be wide outlets from the fullback areas. He also likes to have the central striker drift wide and then make sudden movements across more centrally, often coming from a blind side and getting in between the opposition centre-halves, arriving late in the box. Starting 11-wise, as I said, 4-3-3. Semedo, Collins, Kilman, Ainouri, Nunes, Neves, Moutinho, Hwang, Costa, and Gade is how I think he's probably going to line them up. Starman, Ruben Neves, completely dictates the way Wolves play. Wonderful footballer, even more weight on his shoulders, being that deep liar. Technically brilliant. Distribution is excellent, as good as it gets. He has a short range, he has long range, he has set pieces. He's a leader. He's got good ability to break up play. He is tenacious and dogged defensively. And much more of an all-action midfielder than he gets a lot of credit for, to be honest. And it isn't just the long-range wonder goal that he's got. That he is as dangerous as he is within 25 yards of the game, but there's so much more to his game than that. Neves versus Bruno will be a big matchup because they're going to find themselves in the same area time and time again, and whoever can get the better of that, I think, is probably going to be the one who gets the better of the game in its entirety. With United, I'm expecting United to start looking a little bit more like a fully strength United 11. I think Diogo Dalot is going to be back after a short illness. I hope Diogo Dalot is back after a short illness. I don't know if he's going to throw Lisandro Martinez straight in. I get a feeling he might. So let's go with Varane and Martinez, Luke Shaw back at left back. And then the forward 6 pretty much picks itself. Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, Martial, Rashford, and Anthony. I think that's probably the only options that we've got in those areas. And the match winner this week, I think it'll be Bruno Fernandes. I think if he's able to unshackle himself from Ruben Neves, he'll have a massive part to play in this game. Against a team that's going to be resolute defensively, you're going to have to find someone with a final ball, key pass. That is Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United. him and Eriksen will be essential against the counter press that Lopetegui is going to throw at us. He's been in very good form in recent weeks. He's started to really set the tempo for United, and he's fearless. I think a characteristic you're going to need away from home anyway. His work off the ball will be important in keeping Ruben Neves quiet, just someone getting around him and being in his face. And if he can find the wingers in behind the space that the fullbacks will leave, just like Rashford did for Martial's goal, I think that would be a massive asset. Bruno to Marcus, 1-0 United, is something that I'm expecting to see. And how do you beat them? It's not quite as simple as stop Ruben Neves, but that's the first thing that you got to do. Ruben Neves has always been a talisman, but he's even more important in the system where he's placed as the single lone pivot. Everything goes through him. You can't afford to give him time to be able to get his head up and pick passes because he'll hurt you. And I think alleviating his impact on the game could determine how comfortable United are when it comes to the actual match itself. Getting behind the fullbacks. They're going to use the fullbacks to provide width, and while they're at home, they'll certainly want to push their fullbacks beyond and high up into United's half. That is the number one major weakness. Both Anthony and Marcus are quick enough to be able to burst into that and make something happen from there. Wolves will also sort of invert the centre-back and full-back pairings for United, so we have to be switched on and aware. The Wolves full-backs will be the ones that are providing their width, so you almost kind of... You're going to have to pick and choose when to man-mark them and when to cheat a little bit, stay on the halfway line in space, and hope that everybody else in the team is able to take care of it. Midfield's going to get crowded because they're going to put a lot of bodies in there. We've got a lot of bodies in there, and I think the outlet of this entire game is going to be through the fullbacks, and Delo and Shaw for United could be as vital as the wingers in this one as well. You can create overloads. You can create space, and I think being away from home actually suits us. I think should this game have come in the circumstances it had done and be at home, I think we'd be in for a tougher time than I expect us to be in. I think United are in good form. If we can get out our good 11 and the likes of Lissandro aren't too hungover, I'm pretty confident we can go and get the 3 points. But let me know in the comments, score predictions, how you see this going. Do you agree with Bruno being the key man for us? And how do you think it's going for Lopetegui so far? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.